another view of that angle difference in that thing. Just a slight difference. It makes a world of difference though when you're trying to produce a chip that gets questioned at the mill all the time. Constantly getting checked out to make sure it's in spec. That 1 degree will make a big difference. I got a few minutes and I just took some knives out of the chipper this morning. I actually got to put some back in the morning. They're a little too hot to touch now, but I thought I'd make a video on this knife right here. About the best knife we can get. Rob down in the shop does a darn good job of putting them on there. Putting this edge on here. And Mike Cook does a darn good job too. It just takes time and you gotta do it right. But it's got a real nice smooth edge on here. It tells me that that thing got sparked out real nice. It's got a smoother edge in this. This is a brand new one from Simons. We get them from Simons. It's got a better edge on it than that does. But here's a trick to it too. If you look on the back side of this knife, you see that shiny all the way up the edge of that? It tells me that he ran a grinder along the back of that. Just ground that edge, that back edge off, because that'll roll that edge over when it gets sharpened. If you do that just right, this knife will last twice as long as this knife will, because of that smooth edge and that back grind. This has probably got a back grind on it too, but it isn't as good as the ones that we do for some reason. But if you don't put that back grind on it, that makes a huge difference. Shortens my knife life big time. And if you don't let that spark out, what that spark out is that grinder doesn't push into that knife anymore. It just goes back and forth in the same spot, and it'll get that real smooth edge on it. So that one's really sharp and seems to work out the best for us. But there's one other key that's kind of important in this whole thing too. Let me get this right here. Is if you take this here, and you check the angle of that knife and get that off the bottom there. Right there it is. It's running right at 29 degrees. That 29 degree angle seems to be the perfect angle of that knife. That we use that angle on our Model 23 flails. In this 2755, it takes 2 of these 15 inchers to go in that 30-inch disc. And if you look at this knife, a brand new one, and you stick that up there, the same thing, do it the same way, right there. It's drawing right at 30, maybe just a little, right at 30, maybe just a little more than 30. So it's got a 1 degree difference in these two knives. And you wouldn't think that 1 degree makes much of a difference, but this 29 will put out a better chip than this. Don't ask me why that 1 degree makes a difference, but it does on busting those chips apart when it's in that chipper disc. So, but that right there is about nice and clean, real good edge. The back grind's good. The babbits are good. Sometimes I've seen them where they'll pour the lead in here, because you melt the lead down and pour it in here. They'll only have one of these full and this one's empty. And when you go to pull that out of the holders in the chipper disc, this will stay back in your pocket in there, and then it takes you another 10 minutes to get it out. So that's real good. That is the perfect knife for that chipper, this 2755, and our Model 23 flails too, and our Model 23 hole tree we got too. That angle, that 29 degrees, seems to be the perfect angle. And if you just take your time and get that good and smooth, and that back grind real good, man, I'll tell you what, they'll last a long time, real long time. I pulled this brand new one out of there, and I can see there's a ding in it right there already. That corner's chipped off. What happens is every now and then you throw them in these boxes and I'll ding them off, but I can fix that a little bit. That ain't no big deal. But them's a couple knives. This is again, that junk one. That's the perfect knife for this chipper, and that one's what I got to use to get to this, because I use this and then it's junk, just like this one's junk. That's a brand new one. They'll grind that down and it'll change into that 29-degree angle, and then it'll work just beautiful. But you put all those things together and you can get a knife that lasts longer than any of the other things. So if you cheat on this or the back grind or the Babbitt, it can make a mess. But that right there seems to be the perfect knife for that chipper. Makes the best chips. Low dust, no overs. Makes a perfect knife. Makes a perfect chip. Ice cream cake?
No, not that.
Kind of.
With pudding in the middle.
Wow.
Woo, woo.
Daddy worked really hard on it all day.
I wonder if this cake is going to happy birthday. Stop! No, you don't. Emery, why do you have gum?
Hey, Libby. What?
I got a pudding part. Look at it.
Wait a second.
Wait, there's only one pudding part? No.
No,
Nobody,
girls,
guys,
Bailey.
stop! Guys, stop! Happy birthday to you.